It is that time here on SportsGrid. Kevin Walsh and Joe Lisi with you as we continue to get ready for Super Bowl 60 in San Francisco. The Seattle Seahawks and the New England Patriots.
Yeah, going to be a dandy. This is it, the calm before the storm. Boston could be rocking with Drake May and the New England Patriots. Could it be a possible scenario that played out last time these teams met? 28-24, Pats win. Russell Wilson, over. We see the total dipping. Always good, juicy.
Joe and I, of course, will be talking quite a bit about the Super Bowl, especially across the week on the network. But we did want to take this time here to zone in a little bit on the festivities that are not too far around the corner, which is the NFL awards, because we spend a lot of the season capping these markets, tracking these markets, and figuring out what the difference is going to be. And look, we have a strong idea who will win most of these if you believe the favorite is going to come in, because there are strong favorites everywhere you look. But it doesn't mean, Joe, that a lot of these awards races have not been closely contested.
Well, think about last year. It was between Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson for the MVP, and you and I had sat at this desk and we broke it down, and we said statistically it favored Lamar. Josh, though, had, the intangibles, and you could say the body of work, and the fact that Lamar had won it the year before with the number one seed. And when you look at this year, for what, 13 weeks, it looked like Matt Stafford was the shoo-in, right, to be that. And it still most likely will be Stafford, let's just say. But that door is open based off the last 4 or 5 weeks of the regular season into the playoffs, and now we have to wait and see how it plays out. Obviously, Rookie of the Year is always intriguing, and we see these awards, but at the end of the day, I just think that, again, when we talk about how the selection process, we talked about the Hall of Fame, it's all objective.
Yes.
You take into account the statistics, but you're still dealing with the human element, and that's potentially where we might get a minor or a major upset.
I want to talk about, just off the top here, because we're going to talk about who's going to win and everything. Betting these awards, it's tricky, right? Because they are long seasons, and you can feel as if you have great numbers, and things change on a dime.
Right.
A couple of years ago, I had my POTY ticket that I was very, very happy with, and ultimately got a great number. He lost a Christmas game to Baltimore and Lamar Jackson, and then they decided Lamar was MVP, despite the fact that Lamar was, my gosh, nowhere near the caliber of player. Some of the seasons he actually didn't even win MVP. As I try and adjust this guy here, huh?
That's all right.
Hot start. That's all right.
It's okay. It's going to be a long week. We got, we know what you look like and sound like.
But you also get the ability to jump in live, right? Hey, week 8, week 10. I know that you've occasionally, because let's throw a couple of parlay pieces together. Do you find yourself more interested, Joe, in the long shots when it comes to awards markets, or this guy is plus 105, and in 2 weeks from now he'll be minus 250?
No. So it's all long shots for me. I mean, and when I look at the awards market generally, just the way I play them, I would much rather just bet the game than if I'm going to take, like you said, plus 105 with the Josh Allen, let's just say, and knowing that he might be minus 400. To me, I'd rather have better value or CLV just betting the game.
Yeah.
That you're right. But the markets preseason or in September, October are where I think you could pick up the major value. To your point, where you had Brock Purdy, and you get some of these quarterbacks where we know that it's saturated with the household names, Lamar, Josh Allen, Matt Stafford, Mahomes, where if you do have that outlier, like this year, Drake May, that came on in the second season, you could get that lottery ticket. But then again, even when it looks like you might be in the driver's seat, like here's Drake May in the Super Bowl, you're never through the finish line Because you're dealing with the human element, and this is the debate that we have, and we had it with Belichick with the Hall of Fame, and we just, you go back and forth with the awards outside of, like, Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, are we not suggesting it's Myles Garrett? I mean...
it's gone.
Well, we know it's going to be.
Yeah.
But my point is there any doubt?
No.
Okay.
I don't think there is.
I don't think there is either.
Yeah.
But that's my point. Like, he sets the sack record. He dominates on a terrible team.
Yeah.
Obviously, just putting up those type of numbers, and it's still not a guarantee. I mean, because, again, you're not dealing with wins and losses. You're dealing with objectivity.
Yeah, I hear that. I guess what is interesting is because of that, right? So the way the market moves, you have to realize that, nothing is final until it's final, right? So it allows you to fade things in season.
And perception.
Yes, right? Where it's like, oh, this is over. This is over.
Right.
And then very quickly, it's not. I mean, we're going to get into the MVP award. Ultimately, Stafford, they lost the Thursday. I know he was great, but they lost that Thursday night game against the Seahawks where it was supposed to be the clincher. And kind of it was forgiven because, again, he was, just for anyone who doesn't remember, in that loss, threw for 457 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no interception. You probably keep your head held high after that. And then he lost to Atlanta and threw 3 interceptions in the game. And so, how did he storm back? Week 18, he threw 4 touchdowns against the Cardinals, and Drake May just really did nothing because, they played Miami. It was a bit of a fake game. They decided, whatever. It is what it is. Like, I will say, though, one thing that I harp on a lot is, okay, so coming into 2 seasons ago, I would have told anybody, hey, listen, just figure out who's going to be the number 1 seed. That's how you're going to get to the award. And last year's 2 number 1 seeds were the Detroit Lions and the Kansas City Chiefs, and neither Jared Goff or Pat Mahomes were in the race. Should have been an alarm bell that the Mahomes stuff wasn't going great. Everyone ignored it. That's okay. This year's number 1 seeds, Bo Nix and Sam Darnold. Not only were they not in the race, we're expecting this to go to a wild card quarterback. Now, I get it. They're not your typical wild card team in the Los Angeles Rams because they won 12 games, but I don't know, teams 12 games, a wild card. They didn't win 15 games and end up a wild card team.
So do you think Darnold can win it?
No, not even a little bit. What I do think, though, is that what became the understanding of the MVP award is changing. Again, if I would have said, hey, Joe, Myles Garrett is going to break the sack record, but they're going to win 5 games in Cleveland. How big of a favorite do you think he is to win Defensive Player of the Year? In my opinion, a favorite, not minus 80,000.
No, I would have made him minus 233, minus 3 to 1.
5 wins is not, you know what I mean? Like, you would have thought.
But again, when you see, that's the problem. You're talking about, it would be like somebody breaking Eric Dickerson's record.
Sure.
Okay, and what is that, like if it's Derrick Henry or Saquon?
Okay.
And, okay, what would we have made that potential favorite? It's a record, so you put them in the mix. If you had, I'm just throwing a number. I know it's a 6,000-yard passer with 50 touchdowns. Mm-hmm. What is that type of, like, my point is, when we look at the record on the defensive side of the ball, that is the one area where on defensive MVP, it trumps everything because it's a sack leader. It's a one-time record that right now nobody's hit.
Like, and we'll kind of keep this conversation flowing, but if Justin Jefferson,
okay,
or let's use Pickens. Let's say Lamb never came back. Let's say Pickens would have had 2,000 yards, okay? Mm-hmm. Dallas wins 7 games. Is he Offensive Player of the Year?
No, probably not. You gotta have the record to back it up.
But this year, that changed a little bit. Let's zone in on MVP. Stafford versus May next on SportsGrid.
Drake May and Sam Darnold here again, getting at the stadium, which who knows what that brought to the Super Bowl. But at least we get a quarterback in Drake May looking to stamp his claim to, yeah, Tom Brady was great for this organization. Let me see if I can run a couple championships up the flagpole early in my career. And then there's Sam Darnold at this point, who's getting other general managers fired while he's making his run to the Super Bowl. He's been nothing short of really, really good this season.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Can USA overtake Canada and get that gold, Joe?
Absolutely, they can here. And ultimately, it feels like that is the two-horse race. And I think ultimately, Canadians don't really care if their team competes in the luge or the bobsled, Donnie, or anything else. They just want that gold when it comes to ice hockey. And that is the only thing that's going to matter there.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
He completed a pool bank shot at just 2 years and 302 days. His achievements make him one of the youngest double record holders ever. So let me summarize this for you without reading. He's 2 years old, and he's really good at pool. I mean, that is crazy. 2 years old! How is he doing this? I have no idea. So I guess we got to start training our youngsters to play pool. Okay, fair enough.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
David Tyree.
Oh, wow.
The 2008 Giants win against the New England Patriots and the Tyree catch of the Plaxico Burress game-winning touchdown. That was the only other time in Super Bowl history where the betting public won money.
Wow.
How about that?
Wow.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. The NFL's MVP award coming into the season was supposed to be Josh Allen, Pat Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, maybe Joe Burrow. Only one of them even made the finalist, quite frankly. And I don't know. It's like, really, Josh, MVP this year? I didn't see it that way. But hey, listen, getting a top 5 spot is fine. We know this award comes down to Stafford and Drake May. We know that it is going to be one of those two guys, and the odds have led us to believe it is going to be Matthew Stafford. So I guess the appropriate question is, who do you think is deserving of MVP this year?
I still think, Drake May is deserving to a certain capacity. I know he didn't perform in the playoffs, but we're talking about a second-year guy, and we're talking, I look at perception, and I look at where the team was at the start of the year, and I look at what was the expectation of this team, and then did the player perform or live up to or beyond expectations? Yeah. And when you look at Stafford, to your point, they were thought of as being, especially when Philadelphia struggled early on, that they were the best team with Green Bay to potentially get to the Super Bowl. Yeah. And he rolls up numbers, but then you get to the last half of the season when the real season is on the line, and he doesn't pull out those marquee wins. And on the flip side, you have Drake May and this team that had an 8.5 win total at the start of the year. They won on the road. They were 9-0 in road environments. And I'm just saying, I'm playing devil's advocate. If I was looking at this body of work, would I give it just hands down to Stafford? No. I would much rather give it to Sam Darnold than I would like give it to Stafford. That's just, come on. I'm saying, yeah, I would.
Darnold.
I'm just saying.
But I see, so for me.
It's not just about statistics. It can't just be about statistics. It's got to be the intangible. It's got to be, we gave it to Josh Allen last year, and it wasn't based just solely off statistics. Okay. It was that Josh was over-exceeding expectations and with a limited roster still took that team on his shoulders and brought them to an AFC championship. Ultimately, you and I broke it down. Yeah. Lamar had better statistics. Why did we give it to Josh Allen last year? Because he clearly was the most valuable player to that organization.
Yeah, I think Josh won it because Josh had been in the driver's seat a month
And he's always
prior.
in the discussion, let's be honest.
Well, listen, I actually, so to open that box a little bit, I think Josh won it somewhat due to the due factor, and Lamar had won
right.
2 already.
And he had won the year before with
Correct.
the number 1 seed and got knocked out.
And yes, and had won, again, the year prior, probably when, he shouldn't have won.
No, but again.
The year he was, again, not a season ago, 2 seasons where he won MVP, he shouldn't have won.
But go ahead.
But so then for Josh had a better record.
Okay. Right.
But was a 2 seed. Again, the 1 seed at quarterback was not very good. That was Pat Mahomes. Josh also, you mentioned, it's not about the statistics, but, yeah, it also is. He had 40 total touchdowns. The rushing touchdowns make a big difference. And he does get that look who's around him boost, right? Because Lamar is Derrick Henry.
Right.
And James Cook was not the NFL's rushing leader this year. But what's interesting, Joe, is we have not really heard the look who's around Stafford stuff. The only people who I feel have poked holes in Stafford winning MVP are people who are from Boston, people from Massachusetts, who have been angry that their guy is not going to win it. I feel as if this has just been, you know what I think it kind of somewhat boils down to? Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, even Mahomes to an extent, Joe Burrow. These guys are fighting for their legacies currently. May is a little bit before.
He's a younger
right?
guy.
And Stafford's a little bit over the hill. So it's like everybody's being nice about the whole thing.
But that's what bothers me.
I get that.
It bothers me, and that's why when we get into these discussions, it's always about objectivity. Could you give it to May? Sure, but he's 38, he's 39, he might not play.
Help us in a Hall of Fame case.
But that's my point.
Sure.
And that's why when we look at, I just want to go back to something. You brought up Lamar 2 years ago. Why did they win it? Because they were the number 1 seed, right? Mm-hmm. You said it specifically.
Yeah.
Record, dominant regular season, number 1 seed, all right, and they lost to Pat Mahomes. Isn't it? I don't want to say similar. They're not the number 1 seed, but I mean Drake May 9-0 on the road.
So for the record, I actually think it should be Drake May. He led the NFL in passer rating, QBR, completion percentage,
and
yards per attempt,
there.
And they won 14 games
and won the division.
By the way, the biggest upset, the biggest divisional favorite was Buffalo.
Right.
And by the way, Buffalo didn't have a bad year.
No.
Buffalo didn't have the year Kansas City had by the end of it, right? Buffalo was in the playoffs as a 6th seed. Buffalo was in the mix. And you do the weapons thing. Ultimately, we think Puka Nacua is no worse than the 4th best receiver. A lot of people think the best receiver in the league. Devontae Adams is a legitimate Hall of Famer. And again, we talk about the offensive side of the ball. Sean McVay is a top 3 coach, if not the best coach. You finished 2nd in your division. You won 12 games. That's on you.
I think Stephon Diggs is not the same receiver. Kayshon Boutte, Hunter Henry. I mean, he's doing it with pedestrian weapons.
Now, listen, I will say the other day I saw Drake May was given a nickname, The Schedule, one of the funniest things I've ever seen. He did play a very easy schedule. I do think you have to take advantage of that, and I think he did take advantage of that. I do. I think it sometimes is about when we divvy up credit. And here's what I'll say for the people, though, of New England. I think the main reason that they will not see their quarterback win MVP is they spent too long campaigning for Vrabel to win Coach of the Year. And I don't think Vrabel should be Coach of the Year.
Right.
Because I think Drake May should be MVP, and I think Mike McDonald, we're going to talk Coach of the Year next. The defining side of the ball for the New England season is the offensive side of the ball. That is not Mike Vrabel's side of the ball. This is not. He's a defensive coach. But Patriots fans missed the glory days of Bill, saw Gerard Mayo be a disaster, and latched on to Vrabel's Coach of the Year candidacy. And that's why Stafford's a huge favorite to win MVP. Vrabel's supposed to win Coach of the Year. We'll talk about it next.
got to get on a bus. Then you got to get to the hotel. All right, you got to check into your room. You got to go through all this crap. like, yeah, it's done for you, but it's still not like you're still sitting there. You're still in traffic. Yeah, you're still like, it's still 2 in the morning. You still want to be in bed, right? You're like, oh my God, I'm on some highway in Calgary right now. It's 3:30 in the morning, and we're playing against the Canucks tomorrow, right? Like, it's not as smooth as people always think.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
If there's more revenue for the league, there's more revenue for the players, and that would make it saleable. So they may have objections. There's more risk of injury the longer the season goes. But, these guys, their careers are short. The money is good. Money would be better. So I wouldn't bet against the league expanding sooner rather than later.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
His wife and his kids were like, I kind of like this. This kind of works out for me. A, daddy's a celebrity again, so I get access to things. Daddy's making money again. Hadn't made a nickel in the last 5 years. Now he's made a lot of money, so I'm sure they're good.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, the prospect of daddy being away, like, he ain't cheating on you in Buffalo, I can tell you that. I live there.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Marshall's a tough environment, though. Marshall's that sneaky road trip, in my opinion, and this has been like a decade long that Marshall's been fire at home and terrible on the road. That's a dangerous road game, but if you look at, there's no return game with Kent State. There's no return game with Akron. Maybe when they go to UMass with Frank Martin being such a good coach, he could really take teams out of their rhythm. But I think there's a case that they could be undefeated in the regular season.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
All right, Pro Football Today, back with you right here on SportsGrid. Kevin Walsh and Joe Lisi just talked through the MVP. For Patriots fans, don't worry. You will not likely see your quarterback win MVP, but you will see your head coach win Coach of the Year. And the idea for everyone is, wow, look at the turnaround. Look at the turnaround. Gosh, look, I am not trying to say that Mike Vrabel isn't. You and I have debated this back when he was in Tennessee on his way out. Yeah. I was like, I think Mike's a really good coach, and you didn't. Look,
I said they were anointing Mike like he won a Super Bowl. And he has that shot now. So.
I am just trying to say, I'm trying to I like Mike Vrabel and think he's very good. With that said, when it comes to Coach of the Year, I think we should really then narrow in on the side of the ball that is determining the season, okay? For example, if someone said, hey, I think Chris Shula should be assistant coach of the year.
I'd say you're crazy.
You'd give him a smack in the head. Why? Well, but the Rams won 12 games, and the defense is the weak point of the team. Not that the Patriots' defense is a weak point. They had an MVP-level quarterback, and their offense defined their season. I think then, when I look at Mike McDonald winning 14 games, with their defense being the leading star in that situation, or when I look at Kyle Shanahan, who's all of his good players got hurt but one, or even Liam Cohen, where the Jaguars' offense all of a sudden was humming like the best in football for 2 months, I'm more drawn to those than Mike Vrabel.
That's understandable. I don't disagree with the breakdown. I still wouldn't have a problem with Vrabel if he does win it. Again, we look at expectation. We look at where they are. We look at the ability to be 9-0 on the road or on a neutral field. I don't care who you're playing. In the NFL, that's a great feat to go into somebody else's building and come out undefeated.
Yeah, that's true.
Including one playoff win in Denver, right? So,
yeah.
Even though it was a backup quarterback, still give them credit. But I agree with you about McDonald. I'm sorry. When you have a quarterback, and we talked about this, that was run out of Minnesota, that didn't step up in playoff experience, right? Yeah. With a veteran team around him and Justin Jefferson in that group and all the question marks, and they run the gamut and they win, where they are, and that defense has been absolutely 28 games they haven't allowed a 100-yard rusher. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And so I would give it to McDonald. But
can I ask you this?
Yeah, God. This is
I just want to see if you agree with this.
Sure.
Seattle being as good as they are is more surprising than New England being as good as they are this year, right?
Yeah, I would think so because, again, the perception with Gerard Mayo is they just needed coaching, right?
And we knew New England had a soft schedule coming into the year.
Yes.
I'm not saying I thought they'd win 14 games.
No.
I thought they'd be in the playoffs, New England.
Right. Yeah, no, I didn't in year one, but my point is I didn't see McDonald's dominance, and now the emergence of JSN, the emergence of Sam Darnold, the balance, but the defense is the most physical I've seen in the league. I mean, there are very few defenses I could compare to them. Their back end, I mean, you could expose them at times the way L.A. did.
Demon Worry coming out of school, too.
Yeah, I'm just saying they are dominant. But I'll go back to this, and this is where we might get into a little bit of a debate.
Okay.
When Dable won it, I was in the camp that I thought Pete Carroll should have run.
I remember.
Okay, Dable had a 7.5 win total, won a playoff game.
Yep. Pete
Carroll was picked across multiple gurus and analysts to be at the bottom of the division.
Yeah.
What a 5.5 win total. He overexceeded that. He took that team to 9-8 in a first-round playoff game against San Francisco with a quarterback that nobody thought he could get productivity out of in Geno Smith. Forget Geno now. We're talking 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And we just, it was hands down, it was Dable because of Daniel Jones. But my point was, not expectation-wise, if we're looking realistically, the team that overexceeded expectations more was Pete Carroll. I mean, he had 3.5 more wins than what the books, thought of at the start of the year. I'm just saying, I feel like it's similar with McDonald and Vrabel now.
Yeah, I mean, the Pete Carroll case you made always made sense. I think what ultimately worked in Dable's favor is Daniel Jones was seen as terrible, and that year it was like, he had a career year.
Right.
That's all Dable, and that becomes the guy. I just think for this year, people decided Vrabel was coach of the year 4 months ago, and that's pretty much just
when
really
they clinched
what
the
happened.
division. You feel like it was done?
I think long before that, honestly. We'll be right back here, Pro Football Today.
You got to get on a bus, then you got to get to the hotel, all right? You got to check into your room. You got to go through all this crap. It's like, it's done for you, but it's still not like you're still sitting there. You're still in traffic. Yeah, you're still it's still 2 in the morning. You still want to be in bed, right? You're like, oh my God, I'm on some highway in Calgary right now at 3:30 in the morning, and we're playing against the Canucks tomorrow, right? It's not as smooth as people always think.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
If there's more revenue for the league, there's more revenue for the players, and that would make it saleable. So they may have objections. There's more risk of injury the longer the season goes. But, these guys, their careers are short. The money is good. Money would be better. So I wouldn't bet against the league expanding sooner rather than later.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
His wife and his kids were like, I kind of like this. This kind of works out for me. Daddy's a celebrity again, so I get access to things. Daddy's making money again. Hadn't made a nickel in the last 5 years. Now he's made a lot of money, so I'm sure they're good. But all of a sudden, the prospect of Daddy being away, he ain't cheating on you in Buffalo, I can tell you that. I live there.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Marshall's a tough environment, though. Marshall's that sneaky road trip, in my opinion, and this has been like a decade long that Marshall's been fire at home and terrible on the road. That's a dangerous road game, but if you look at, there's no return game with Kent State. There's no return game with Akron. Maybe when they go to UMass with Frank Martin being such a good coach, he could really take teams out of their rhythm. But I think there's a case that they could be undefeated in the regular season.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
The tide is turning. Pro football today on SportsGrid. Kevin Walsh, Joe Lisi, Offensive Player of the Year, Joe. Let me start with this, because everyone believes it's between JSN and Puka Nacua. Do you feel McCaffrey's been overlooked in this race?
No, not at all. No. Again, McCaffrey's always, it's almost, no, because again, I understand what we're going to say.
I love the honesty.
No, but I don't give him a hint of, he was clearly a dominant force for that offense, especially when Purdy went down. To catch the football out of the backfield and have as many receptions as he did.
Yeah.
Kudos. Great.
Uh-huh.
But again, knowing where the team ended, knowing that they limped to the finish line, and again, he wasn't a major force down the stretch.
Yeah.
I don't put a lot of weight into it. And again, if this team was 15-2 and they had the number 1 seed,
yeah,
and they lost in the championship game, maybe that would be a little bit different. But for me, he had a great season on a team that,
So the reason why
I just can't put him in the conversation. JSN is similar to, I look at JSN the way I looked at Barkley 2 years ago.
Okay.
Like, without JSN in that lineup,
Uh-huh.
I don't know. Are they passing more than 100 yards? Are they?
So I want to stick on the McCaffrey
Go ahead.
for a second. So the issue with the McCaffrey season is Pro Football Focus. People got very angry because McCaffrey didn't grade out super elite on Pro Football Focus. But when you then look at the McCaffrey numbers, you go, oh, I kind of get it. He averaged 3.9 yards a carry. He's not had a season healthy at that type of use, that low of efficiency outside of his rookie year. This season for McCaffrey, it is remarkable how healthy he stayed. And he had to carry a massive, massive load for this team, and I give him a lot of credit for that. But I do not think it was his most excellent season. And I do think Offensive Player of the Year is more about excellence than value in a way, right? I think that's kind of the splitting of the difference of it all. So again, I think they got it right in that McCaffrey is an MVP finalist.
Yeah.
And Puka and JSN are not, while McCaffrey is going to finish 3rd in Offensive Player of the Year voting.
Okay.
So, right?
Yeah.
Because we know they've changed it, right? MVP and Offensive Player of the Year, they've kind of on their own, this is for skill position players, right? They've made that adjustment. So I think they got that right. With the JSN Puka stuff, I agree it's JSN.
Okay. There's the but.
There always is, right?
Well, give me the but.
Puka Nacua missed a game.
Yeah.
Just listen to me. And finished with the same amount of touchdowns, 6 more receptions, and 78 fewer yards. I wonder, have Puka played all 17, would this even be a conversation?
Okay, but wait a second. Let me push back.
Okay.
Offensive Player of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
Who won it 2 years ago?
Are you referring to Saquon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. You take Saquon off that team, and I know we're similar to the MVP, but I don't know if they're having all that success the way they had, right? Not. Okay.
Yeah.
If you take Puka off of the Rams or delete him, you still have Devontae.
Mm-hmm.
You still have Kyron. You still have Blake Corum. You have 3 tight ends, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's productivity there. I'm just saying, with Stafford.
Sure.
You take JSN off of Seattle.
Yeah.
Who are you throwing the football to?
Mm-hmm.
No, but that's my point. They don't have A.J. Barner's not, George Kittle, Kelsey. I mean, Brock Bowers. Is he? I mean, Shaheed, I think he had his first catch last week in the win. I mean, 50 yards, and they never went back to him.
Mm-hmm.
So when I look at, yes, he might, statistically, Puka, let's say he played the other game, we'll give him the stats. But I don't even think it's close. The year that JSN has had is a main reason why, offensively, they are able to go to the Super Bowl.
Ultimately, I agree with you. I do. I'm just saying.
But we're going to get into this debate because it's an award, not me and you, but where you're going to hear the narrative come out and we're just going to throw bouquets at Puka because they just love Puka.
Yeah, but ultimately, right, like, I think when it comes down to it, JSN had the most receiving yards, and JSN
is the best receiver, I believe, right now in the NFL.
I actually still think it's Jamar Chase, to be so honest with you. No, I do.
Yeah, all right,
really
so you're back to the LSU guys. All right, I am. All right.
So you agree with me?
No, I don't. I mean, come on, JSN is making ridiculous
Hold
catches.
on, so let me bring the I want to bring the other LSU receiver into this.
Justin?
When Darnold went to Seattle.
Yeah.
We agreed.
Right.
What's he going to do without Justin Jefferson?
Well,
okay? And that thought is not a slight to JSN. It's because Justin Jefferson is one of the great receivers this league's seen.
Right.
JSN was able to beat Justin Jefferson. That in of itself is an unbelievable accomplishment. It really is.
Right.
And to do it, they had better other guys in Minnesota last year. Addison, Hawkinson.
Naylor was there, was he?
Half the season, I didn't even know if Cooper Kupp was on this team. Rashid Shaheed was literally not on this team for half of the season, right? It's not as if they've got some bell cow running back that eats in the receiving game. A.J. Barner is the only other player that had 50 catches on this team.
Yeah, but that's exactly my point. JSN is the most important player and piece of that offense. If he ever goes down, the drop-off is significant.
Again, I all in all agree.
But I know how this narrative goes. Oh, it's Puka. We're starting to show.
I think what ultimately, I guess why I'm bringing it up is until there's about a month left, JSN was like leading in everything. And then Puka almost caught him. Like he did catch him on receptions.
He caught him in the game receiving the last game.
Oh, yeah. No, he did.
That last catch.
I played it. Look, ultimately, it didn't get there. Weirdly, in a game, he had 10 catches. But I took him for like 150, 170 yards in Week 18 because maybe he was going to push for the receiving crown. And he didn't. But, okay, let me just ask you this question.
Go ahead.
Because I actually think you're right to say that JSN winning it isn't only about statistics. If I would have told you, though, that Puka Nacua would have been able to finish with 1,800 receiving yards, which would have just been 7 more than JSN. I think Puka then would have actually won Offensive Player of the Year.
Again, I think the media, and it's not a slight to JSN, but they have their favorites.
Yeah.
They certainly have him at the quarterback position. I think they have him at the wide receiver position. They have him at every position, but you could hear the narrative, the highlight reels, the Puka this, the Puka that, and he's a great player. I'm not taking away from him.
I want to sneak this in. We're going to go to Defensive Player of the Year. To this recent OPOY history, especially since this has become a skill position player award, okay? We have not seen multi-time winners, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The Jefferson's won one, JSN has won one, Saquon, Henry, McCaffrey. I already feel next year is between 2 guys.
Okay.
Maybe a third.
All right. You got the season played out already?
Just based on what we...
Go ahead.
Puka, Chase, maybe Gibbs. And I can't imagine who could crack into that because history says it's hard to win it again. Like, what's going to happen is, Joe, JSN's going to win it, open as the favorite, and he's going to have no chance.
Yeah, you're probably right. So you think it's just 3?
That's where I'm at right now. And I would lean to Chase. Chase is going to get one of these.
All right.
He's going to get one of these. All right, let's stick in the AFC North. Garrett, Defensive Player of the Year. Should he be? Probably.
You got to get on a bus. Then you got to get to the hotel, all right? You got to check into your room. You got to go through all this crap. like, yeah, it's done for you, but it's still not like you're still sitting there. You're still in traffic. Yeah, you're still like, it's still 2 in the morning. You still want to be in bed, right? You're like, oh my God, I'm on some highway in Calgary right now. It's 3:30 in the morning, and we're playing against the Canucks tomorrow, right? Like, it's not as smooth as people always think.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
If there's more revenue for the league, there's more revenue for the players, and that would make it saleable. So they may have objections. Certainly there's more risk of injury the longer the season goes. But, these guys, their careers are short. The money is good. Money would be better. So I wouldn't bet against the league expanding sooner rather than later.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
His wife and his kids were like, I kind of like this. This kind of works out for me. Hey, daddy's a celebrity again, so I get access to things. Daddy's making money again. Hadn't made a nickel in the last 5 years. Now he's made a lot of money, so I'm sure they're good. But all of a sudden, the prospect of daddy being away, like, he ain't cheating on you in Buffalo, I can tell you that. I live there.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Marshall's a tough environment, though. Marshall's that sneaky road trip, in my opinion, and this has been like a decade long that Marshall's been fire at home and terrible on the road. That's a dangerous road game, but if you look at, there's no return game with Kent State. There's no return game with Akron. Maybe when they go to UMass with Frank Martin being such a good coach, he can really take teams out of their rhythm. But I think there's a case that they could be undefeated in the regular season.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Kevin Walsh and Joe Lisi looking at the awards. We're going to be deciding those sooner than later, certainly this week out there in San Francisco. Joe, the Defensive Player of the Year award, though, has seemingly been decided for a long time now. Myles Garrett, he breaks the sack record. He is on a 5-win team. Any issue or pushback on that reality?
No.
Okay.
No, again, when you, and we know about the hype surrounding Myles Garrett. Coming in, we thought he was one of the most dominant defensive players in the league. When Micah Parsons went down in the middle part of the year, I think it was signed, sealed, and delivered. And the fact that he breaks the sack record, I just can't give it to anybody else. I mean, I think, look, defensively, right, is the one area where when we're looking at this award, you don't have to be on a winning team. I think defense is looked at as, hey, sometimes you could have a dominant defense, but if your offense can't win you games, you're given a pass. Where on the offensive side of the ball, we're so offensive metric-based, and the perception is starting quarterback, and we talk about these awards, right? We go and we obviously relate it to record.
Yeah.
On the defensive side of the ball, it's more like, hey, you could be a dominant defensive player on a terrible team, and you're still deserving. I think that's the way you look at it. And you just look at the performances and you look at the people on that list. The only household name that you could make an argument outside of Micah Parsons, I believe, would be Hutchinson. I don't even think Will Anderson is a household name. I'm saying just in normal perception. We know him from college and obviously covering the league, and the people, covering the league.
He's getting there, though.
He's getting there, but I'm just saying, like, Myles Garrett, you ask 100 people who's one of the best defensive end or defensive players in the league, they're going to say Myles Garrett. It's almost like LT back in the day. It's just...
Right. It's very weird because I think Myles Garrett is truly one of the all-time greats. So for him to have that season, right, break the record, gosh, I hate that it took him 17 games, though.
You wanted him to break it in 10?
No, I wanted him to break it in 16. I did.
I'm happy that he actually got the legitimate sack as opposed to Favre breaking down and giving it to Strahan. I'm just saying. I know. I mean, you could look at it both ways.
Right.
And the fact that how many sacks did he have heading into, like, week 15? Didn't he have, like, 22?
Well, that's my point.
Yeah, I know.
He was set up to
crush it.
he was at one point set up to crush it. We legitimately were like, you think he's going to get 30? Like, that's how it felt. So, yes, that him not being able to do that was a little bit, again, frustrating isn't the word. I'm just saying I don't want to add questions on top of things that shouldn't be questioned.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
And I think that we now are in this unfortunate position where people will question a little bit just it's just down the road, okay? Down the road. But I am someone who fully believed something that ended up not mattering, which is had Micah Parsons not tore his ACL, I think he might have actually took the award off Garrett.
Well, I think he would have been the exception and the outlier. And the reason why is because
I think they would have won the North.
Yeah, and he was a household name, though.
Yeah. Well, that's true.
They weren't giving it to...
No, it's a good point.
They weren't giving it to Nick Benito. No, but I'm saying Benito's a great player.
Yeah.
But he's not a household name.
Right.
You know, you survey 100 NFL or 1,000 NFL fans, they're not picking Nick Benito out of a hat before Myles Garrett and Micah Parsons.
Right.
And that's, when you get down to this award, that's the problem. You can make the argument Will Anderson was, dominant defensive player, and the main reason why him and Merciless, led that team, and main reason why they got even to the divisional round. But when you just look at overall body of work, it's like the home run record. It's like Barry Bonds, and I know he's not in the Hall of Fame, but my point is, it's that recognizable feat.
Yeah.
You break the home run record, you break the sack record. It's like, wow, you're all world.
Right. And I guess
doesn't matter the team that you're on.
No. And I mean, look, there's so much attention paid to him. People have also mentioned, like, it's not like they won a bunch of games, so it's not like there was a bunch of times where they were playing the run a lot in Cleveland, right?
Right, yeah.
These teams are just running the clock out. So I promise I am not trying to downgrade what will be a legendary season. I'm just saying I never would have thought Myles Garrett could be on a 5-win team and win Defensive Player of the Year. But ultimately, I do think he would have won Defensive Player of the Year even if he didn't get the record. Like, by the end of it, because the rest, to your point, Joe, there wasn't enough for Benito. There wasn't enough for Anderson. Micah got hurt. The Lions' defense wasn't even very good. Hutchinson was excellent, but just that defense was not good enough to, get it to him ultimately. I think next year gets really interesting, though, for that. Well, actually, you know what? This is what I want to ask you.
Go ahead.
Something we've talked about a little bit already, you and I. If Myles Garrett is frustrated enough, if Jim Schwartz leaves, do you think the Browns would be crazy to listen to offers on Myles Garrett?
Yes. I mean, listen, no. To pull the trigger, yes.
Fair enough, yeah.
Crazy.
So do you think they'd be crazy to trade him?
I think so. Again, he's a young enough player. He's hitting his peak. 23. All right, you want to say he's on the back end? Fine. You want to sell high? You want to do a Bill Belichick?
I don't know how long
sell high and hopefully you catch lightning in a bottle? That's fine. I get it. But
yeah,
I know. And what are you going to do? That defense then going to take a step back? They're going to be a sieve? What are you going to do? They had a great draft defensively.
They did.
No, you know that. I keep telling you, that's a main component of that team.
Yeah.
They are not that far away from being competitive for a wild card. I totally disagree that it's a major rebuild. I do not think that with Monken, I think they can be competitive to 9 wins with that defense.
Do you think they can be competitive 9, 10 wins with Shedeur Sanders?
I need to know who's around them besides Fannin. Tell
Would
me.
you spend?
Can you get me a Cornell Tate?
Yeah.
Okay, you're going to give me Cornell Tate and maybe another
offensive lineman.
Offensive lineman and maybe another,
pay a guy.
Yeah, or a slot guy
Whatever.
or somebody. Yeah. I mean, as long as Junkins comes back, Dylan Sampson, I believe in the offensive line.
Trade for A.J. Brown?
For Cleveland? No way. No.
Why not?
Not at Cleveland.
Why?
He ain't going to perform in Cleveland.
Why not?
Because he wants to be on a winner.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. He's dying to go to a loser.
All right, so then I'll
Catch
take him.
balls.
I'll take him.
Perfect. Plus, I thought they were supposed to be a winner.
Yeah, but he was a Super Bowl winner.
Oh, no. Doesn't care about Super Bowls.
got to get on a bus. Then you got to get to the hotel. All right, you got to check into your room. You got to go through all this crap. It's like, yeah, it's done for you, but it's still not like you're still sitting there. You're still in traffic. Yeah, you're still like it's still 2 in the morning. You still want to be in bed, right? You're like, oh my God, I'm on some highway in Calgary right now. It's 3:30 in the morning, and we're playing against the Canucks tomorrow. Right? Like, it's not as smooth as people always think.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
If there's more revenue for the league, there's more revenue for the players, and that would make it saleable. So they may have objections. Certainly there's more risk of injury the longer the season goes. But, these guys, their careers are short. The money is good. Money would be better. So I wouldn't bet against the league expanding sooner rather than later.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
His wife and his kids were like, I kind of like this. This kind of works out for me. Daddy's a celebrity again, so I get access to things. Daddy's making money again. Hadn't made a nickel in the last 5 years. Now he's made a lot of money, so I'm sure they're good. But all of a sudden, the prospect of Daddy being away, like he ain't cheating on you in Buffalo, I can tell you that. I live there.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Marshall's a tough environment, though. Marshall's that sneaky road trip, in my opinion, and this has been like a decade long that Marshall's been fire at home and terrible on the road. That's a dangerous road game, but if you look at, there's no return game with Kent State. There's no return game with Akron. Maybe when they go to UMass with Frank Martin being such a good coach, he could really take teams out of their rhythm. But I think there's a case that they could be undefeated in the regular season.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
All right, let's talk some rookies here. Offensive Rookie of the Year. I think I got one. I took Ted in season.
Okay.
I think he's going to win it. How do you feel about that? You don't seem happy. All right, here we go. All right, here we go. Here we go. All right, here we go. Thinks Quinshawn should win it. Isn't a finalist. Here we go. Here we go.
Can't even talk.
All right. Hey, Will Campbell should have got a vote. All right, LSU.
Will Campbell.
Here we go. Go ahead.
Ted had a very productive year.
Okay.
And again, they made the playoffs. I mean, if Bryce was more consistent, I think he would have put up dynamic numbers. I thought Ibuka would have been in the mix. But Ted isn't a bad option. He probably will win it. I mean, you can make the argument, Travion, but, Dart, I can't give it to Dart. I mean, come on. Come on. Tyler Shuck. Come on.
Okay.
Come on.
Can I tell you what's wild?
Yeah.
I actually think the biggest upset of this whole thing is that somehow Tyler Warren didn't end up a finalist. Isn't that a little wild? Like, he was
what was his numbers final? 800 yards receiving or close?
76 grabs, 817 receiving, 4 touchdowns. Also had a rushing touchdown. I think that's a little, ultimately, a little surprising.
They don't like the tight ends.
You know what it is they love the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Is that they needed Dart. I never thought Dart was a threat. Giants were terrible. I didn't see it at all.
The only way the rookie quarterback wins it, in my opinion, is if he puts up dynamic numbers and the team wins games a la Jaden Daniels.
Right. So Shuck all of a sudden had a moment.
Yeah, come on. The team had 7 wins, though.
They kept winning games at the end.
Yeah, but I mean, is Shuck wowing you? He wowed me enough. Okay, he gets the chance to be the starter next year. Great.
Yeah.
But I'm not. I'm not running to the window to bet Tyler Shuck over 3,500 passing yards next year. Well, it's possible. Here he's going to go. It's possible.
He was starting to put up numbers at the end of the season, Joe, that admittedly I couldn't believe. I know they weren't playing some great teams, but I mean he had multiple 300-yard passing games. Like, it was very. I think he has more career 300 passing yard games than Drake May. Like, it was a lot. Look, ultimately, Ted's going to win it, I think. 70 grabs, 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns. But I do believe kind of your demeanor a little bit towards the list shows that it wasn't a very strong class.
Wasn't.
So let's quickly mention the defensive rookie of the years. Everyone believes it's going to be Schlesinger, the linebacker out of Cleveland. Xavier Watts is a guy they hit on in Atlanta.
Had a great second half of the season.
It is funny that Eamon Worry never really was in this race, and yet every time you watch a Seahawks game,
I know, he's there.
They're like, yeah, he's probably the best player in the history of football. Collinsworth looks like he's going to like run on the field and hug him. But I get it. What I want to ask you is, because you know that these numbers drop quick after the draft.
Yeah.
We're far away.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Offensively, do you think Mendoza is going to be a wildly big favorite? And could you see yourself looking to fade him with skill position guys?
I will fade him.
Yeah.
I will.
I figured as much.
I think Tate, based off, you got to hear me out.
Okay, I know. Yeah.
JSN success, Ibuka's first year success, and Ibuka tailed off because he tailed off because all of a sudden Baker Mayfield forgot he was in the lineup.
Wild.
I mean, I did the stats. The first 8 games of the regular season, Ibuka was averaging 76.2 yards per game. The last 9 games of the regular season, or 10 games, it was 32.5. Yeah. It's like Baker forgot that he existed. I'm just saying. So
here's the thing. So I mean, there's a lot of players like it. God,
I
believe in Mendoza a lot.
You love this guy. You're carrying him in the streets of Las Vegas already.
No surprise Clint Kubiak's dying to get that job. No surprise. Guy knows talent when he sees it.
Look at his chops.
Yeah, I think he is. I think right now if they said, hey, listen, we can't give you the job. You have to walk away from the Super Bowl. He goes, it's fine. Let me get to Vegas. No, seriously, though.
Okay.
I think it's going to be very interesting to see where Jeremiah Love lands. Because I think that is an incredibly special football player.
We interviewed him. Yeah, he is.
And unlike Genti, who went to a losing situation.
If he goes to the Chiefs?
Goes to the... Look, I just say it. I do it. I don't know what it is. I do. I swoop in and take these teams from you. He goes to Washington. Jeremiah Love in the backfield with Jaden Daniels. I mean, that's 1,500 yards and 12
Krosky Merritt. We're not pumping up this guy again, the AFL player of the year.
Jeremiah Love is going to either likely end up on the Commanders, the Saints, or the Chiefs.
Chiefs. They need a running back desperately.
If he ends up on the Chiefs, you think he's the favorite?
Yes.
You love this Jeremiah Love. Shame they didn't put Notre Dame in the playoff. What are you going to do? Pro Football Today. Joe Lisi, Kevin Walsh. We'll see you next time.
You got to get on a bus. Then you got to get to the hotel, all right? You got to check into your room. You got to go through all this crap. It's like, it's done for you, but it's still not like... You're still sitting there. You're still in traffic. Yeah, you're still like, it's still 2 a.m. You still want to be in bed, right? You're like, oh, my God, I'm on some highway in Calgary right now. It's 3:30 in the morning, and we're playing against the Canucks tomorrow, right? Like, it's not as smooth as people always think.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
If there's more revenue for the league, there's more revenue for the players, and that would make it saleable. So they may have objections. There's more risk of injury the longer the season goes. But, these guys, their careers are short. The money is good. Money would be better. So I wouldn't bet against the league expanding sooner rather than later.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
His wife and his kids were like, I kind of like this. This kind of works out for me. Hey, Daddy's a celebrity again, so I get access to things. Daddy's making money again. Hadn't made a nickel in the last 5 years. Now he's made a lot of money, so I'm sure they're good. But all of a sudden, the prospect of Daddy being away, like he ain't cheating on you in Buffalo, I can tell you that. I live there.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Marshall's a tough environment, though. Marshall's that sneaky road trip, in my opinion, and this has been like a decade long that Marshall's been fire at home and terrible on the road. That's a dangerous road game, but if you look at, there's no return game with Kent State. There's no return game with Akron. Maybe when they go to UMass with Frank Martin being such a good coach, he could really take teams out of their rhythm. But I think there's a case that they could be undefeated in the regular season.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.